When it comes to uniqueness in video games, I think Remember Me stands pretty good in that section. With so much awesome games being released in 2013, Capcom's Remember Me could almost be called Forget Me.
Forget Me.
Made with Unreal Engine 3, Remember Me's visual is solid enough with a mix of film grain effects setting the atmosphere of Neo Paris in 2084. It's in far future that takes place in a further timeline than Cyberpunk 2077. The name Remember Me is connected to the fact that there's a device named Sensen which the dwellers use in this world. The device which lets them remix the memories, like let's say your girlfriend broke up with you, you can just remix the memory to erase the moments of it like nothing happened or something else happened, which is just revolutionary. Set in a time where people plays with memories, leapers lurking in the slum, and heavy-duty robots and security forces, you play as Nilin, a female protagonist who is an errorist who got imprisoned by a corporation called Memorize. Oh yeah, I said errorist, not terrorist. In easy terms, a memory hunter. The corporation almost erases your memory and is about to wipe out what's left of you. That's when a man named Edge, leader of the terrorists, helps her escape the facility. As Nilin doesn't remember that much,
you really can't remember this pretty boy face of mine?
She is guided the entire game by Edge so that she can get her memories back and destroy the central server of Memorize. Different friendly and non-friendly characters plays their specific role. On the Memory Hunter's side, there's Edge, the mastermind of the terrorist movement, other allies named Bad Request, Tommy, Olga, who aids the main character in various ways. On the other side, in the La Bastille prison, Quiet, an evil doctor who tortures people during the memory removal process, Madame Astrid, the governor, and also an expert in memory manipulation, and some other characters are present. But I think the characters and the story doesn't matter that much than the combat and the remixing other people's memory for plot progression. The combat does not go by the casual button spamming system like other games, but features a dedicated combo feature. First, let's talk about the interesting Pressens, which are different fighting moves that can be assigned to make a combo: power, regen, cooldown, and chain. The power Pressens are for inflicting more damage to the enemies, and the regen Pressen heals you every time you hit with the regen Pressen. Chain Pressen duplicates the previous Pressen and doubles its effect, which is the best Pressen in my opinion. The cooldown Pressen basically reduces the cooldown of other 5 special Pressens you have. I'll get to the special Pressens after a bit, but for now let's just focus on the basic combos. You can make your preferred combo using different Pressens in the combo lab. The different moves including karate, judo, taekwondo are parts of using only 2 buttons. Buttons for one which uses the hand and the other which uses the leg to execute different moves to perform a combo. For example, the first basic Pressen is a 3-hit combo of just using the punch button of your mouse or controller. Then a 5-hit combo which needs 3 kick moves and 2 punch moves to execute. There's up to a 8-hit combo which can be performed in fights. Some says the combat is like Batman Arkham series, but to perfectly use the combos you have to remember and hit the specific buttons at exact times and also dodge any enemy who is trying to land a hit at the moment. A successful dodge helps you to keep doing the combo. The enemy you encounter appears in the slum and the city. In the slum you'll find the leapers who are fairly easier than the saber force in the city. The leapers have some stronger types like this Skinner that is hard to kill if other leapers are around because the Skinner is eating other leapers' memory. Stranglers that can only be fought in the light because they hit you randomly in darkness and you can't fight back without turning on the light or use a special Pressen. Saber forces are stronger naturally and some have special perks like one carries a shield which blocks all your hits, then the elite enforcer whose armor is electrified and you take damage when you hit them, and so on. So different strategies are necessary to defeat some particular enemies. There are some AI robots like Nephilim, Seraphim, and Zorn. Seraphim flies and shoots from above while the Nephilim uses a shield to stagger any attacks, and Zorn is like a big ass robot which you encounter as a boss fight. These robots cannot be damaged with physical hits but the spammer that you get after defeating the first boss. The special Pressen which are called S-Pressens, which works when you have a focus bar and goes into cooldown after using. There are total 5 S-Pressens such as the Sensen Fury, DOS, Rust in Pieces, Camo, and the Logic Bomb. The Sensen Fury is the first one you get, which lets you perform hits after hits without stopping. It's good for stomping a bunch of enemies to lower the number of leapers or saber forces you're fighting. Sensen DOS stuns the enemies around and also reveals the invisible stranglers. I've found this present quite helpful for those annoying invisible leapers who makes the fight harder combined with the other normal leapers. Rust in Pieces can only be used on robots and it turns against the saber forces when you trigger it. The Logic Bomb can be used to place on an enemy and it breaks shields of whoever else is in the blast radius. Be careful to not hit yourself with it though. The Camo lets you go invisible for 30 seconds and you can then go and overload an enemy. Overloading gives you more focus than regular combos. Every Pressens has a 3-minute cooldown except the Fury, which has only 60 seconds cooldown. To reduce the cooldown, you should definitely make a combo of cooldowns mixed with chains to easily reduce the time it takes to recharge the Pressens. The Sensen device also lets you see environmental warnings and is quite informative in general. There are some screens which shows where a SAT patch is. The SAT patch increases the maximum health of Nilin. There are SAT hatches too which heals you when you're low. This game sometimes forces you to do some parkours and there's quite a lot of climbings to do too. There's total 8 episodes and they take quite a good amount of time to complete. What I liked about the episodes is there's a boss fight at the end of almost every episode. The boss fights are fun and creative that requires you to use both your special presence and combos to finish different stages of the fight. Like some boss have 3 chunks of health while some has 2. There's one thing common in every boss fight is you have to overload them when their health is almost over, and the overloading moment is about hitting different buttons at the right time, and it sometimes felt hard because it doesn't show which button I have to press, but the icon of the button. Remember Assassin's Creed 2's icons? This felt like that. And when you fail to hit those right buttons, it takes back to the place where you have to fight the boss again for a little amount of time to reach that overload quicktime moment. There's a thing called Remembrane where you steal some people's memories and then activate the Remembrane to do what they did. For example, using a leaper named Johnny Greenteeth's Remembrane to follow him in a minefield because he knows where the mines are and you don't. That brings up a topic. This fella's name is Johnny Greenteeth and this is 2084. And in Cyberpunk 2077 there's Johnny Silverhand, so basically after 7 years his silver hands are gone and he has green teeth now? What a coincidence. The Remembrane also gives you information about some puzzles like the correct password or rotate some objects to enter somewhere important. The game introduces you to drones not so late and these drones shoots to kill, so avoiding them is a must. They sometimes feels like mini puzzles. In the beginning you avoid them using some Remembranes, but later your Sensen gets an upgrade which lets you see the radius of their scan range. The Spammer can open doors and also move objects later. It also gets a junk bolt upgrade that can destroy the enemy shields. The Spammer shoots data bursts, has a snap to target like aim, which was sometimes annoying because sometimes I wanted to target a shield but instead it hit an enemy. Now let's talk about a really cool feature which is called Memory Remix. The memory remix happens through plot progression and you have to remix some people's memory to make them believe something else happened. One good example is where you access a memory of a Saber Force guy and your objective is to make him remember that he killed his wife. In reality that actually didn't happen, but in his memory he'll believe that he killed his own wife. To do this, there are memory glitches available in the playback and you have to rewind or fast forward to find those memory glitches. The memory glitches are some environmental objects which you can interact with, like pulling up the gun safety or moving some furniture or objects. In this example, this guy's name is Frank Forlan and his wife is Alexia Forlan. At start you get 2 choices, knock over the bottle or the trophy. You can choose one and see where it goes. The next one is the gun safety. So I removed the gun safety and see what happens, but a memory bug happens where Frank is shot and dead. And here you have to rewind it. Rewinding will cancel the gun safety removal and will continue to play the memory. So I removed the gun safety after the gun is on the table and it seems like it's supposed to work now. Then I get 2 more choices, retract the side table or tip over the cigarette. Only one can be chosen. I chose to tip over the cigarette and not move the side table. As a result, he fell down for the bottle and there wasn't any side table he could grab and he got knocked out for that. So I rewinded again and chose to retract the table, and this time he grabbed the side table when he fell down, and as there wasn't any bottle on the table, he chose to pick up the gun, which they thought the safety is on, but the safety was removed already, and Frank successfully kills Alexia in that process.
Be serious, Frank. You never even take the safety off.
Alex!
At least in his memory. Remembering that, he also decided to suicide later, and that's how Nilin used her power to kill a Saber Force commander. So this is basically a trial and error process when you're gonna do the remix memory thing. This feature was my favorite thing in this game, that's why I discussed this in detail. I also think Cyberpunk's Brain Dance is a similar feature like Remember Me's remixing memory. So I feel like Cyberpunk took some ideas from this game as both games are Cyberpunk type. Remember Me also has some good soundtracks during gameplays and fights, but I personally like the main menu music the most. There's an audio cue which plays when you keep doing your combos, and that's also good for the fights. Anyways, that sums up my review of Remember Me. I liked playing it. It's not the best, but it's definitely not a bad game. Thank you for watching.